Today, we are going to be making our very own printing presses like they did in the Reformation. If you remember from the beginning of our unit, we were talking about Johann Gutenberg and how important the invention of the printing press was during this time period. So now that we have finished our unit, we are going to be making our very own printing presses and making our very own type. Just a little bit different how they did it back in the Reformation. We're not going to be making our own metal castings. Instead, we are going to be working with foam, wooden blocks or popsicle sticks, paint, markers, and glue. So I am very excited for you guys to get started on this. So to begin, we are going to have to write a note of what we want to say using our printing press. So I have my note right here that says, "Have a great day." So this will tell me what I need or what letters I need for my type. So I'm going to need a lowercase a, v, and e, and an uppercase h for have. As you might remember from in our book, they had two different sets of alphabet for the type. They had your uppercase letters and your lowercase letters. So we want to make sure we have our uppercase letters and our lowercase letters. This is part of the reason why we are writing out the note first. So we know what letters we need to have and what letters are uppercase and lowercase. So I need these letters. If you see A, I already have an A in have, so I'm not going to have to make another A. I have a G and an R. I don't have those yet, so I'm going to have to make sure I have a G and an R and a T because I already have an E, A. Same thing for day. I already have the A, so I'm just going to need a D and a Y. And I don't have any of my punctuation yet. So that might be a period, question mark, exclamation mark. For what I'm using, it's an exclamation mark. So when I make my type, I'm going to have to make sure I have all these letters. In order for you to make the type, you are each going to get pieces of foam, and you are going to write out your letters on your foam. When you write out your letters on the foam, I wouldn't write it like you did on your piece of paper. I would recommend writing it in either block or bubble letters so it makes it a little bit easier to cut out. When you are working with your phone, when you are writing your letters, here is an example on how you could write them. They're just basic like bubble letters. So then when I am all done writing it out on the phone, I'm going to begin cutting it out. And now that you have cut out your foam letters, it is time to either glue them to your popsicle stick or your wooden block. When you glue them to your popsicle stick or wooden block, you're going to want your letter backwards because that's how they were when they casted it. They were all going to be backwards because when you glue them onto your block and you press down on the paper and lift it back up, it's going to be mirrored. So kind of think about how Leonardo da Vinci wrote in his notebook that we learned in the Renaissance. He wrote everything mirrored. So that's how it's going to be on your blocks. They are all going to be mirrored. And now that you are all done gluing them to your blocks or your sticks, this is what they should look like. So now you are going to arrange your first word. So my first word is have. So I'm going to find my H, my A, my V, and my E, and I am going to arrange it so it is mirrored. So my H, which is my first letter, is going to be on my right hand side, and then I'm going to spell the word right to left. That is opposite of how we read because we read left to right. So go ahead and arrange them in that order. Now, when it comes time for your actual printing of your printing press, you have a few options. You can either use a marker and color in each letter and then stamp it, or you can take paint and either stamp it in the paint, get off the extra, or if you're going to use paint and you have access to paintbrushes, you can paint it on This is going to be most like during the Reformation time where they have to paint on the ink onto the type. So this is the ink, and you are going to color in each one of your type pieces. If you are using the marker like I am right now, you do kind of have to work a little fast because the ink will dry onto the foam. And also make sure your glue is dry. And once you have all your pieces colored in, you are going to take your piece of paper, lay it on the top, and like they did in the Reformation, you are going to press onto your type. And now, when you lift up your paper, you have your printed word. So that's with the marker. If we are doing paint, or if you have access to paint, go ahead and paint on each letter. And it's okay if it gets on the block or the stick, because it's only going to count the letters that are raised up. And so same thing, take your piece of paper, line it up where you want, and go ahead and press it with your piece of cardboard, or you could use your hands. Lift up, set it to the side, and then when you lift up, you have your impression of your word. After you have stamped all your words and printed them onto your piece of paper, it should look something like this. So I hope you guys had a great time with this activity, and it kind of gives you a better understanding on how the printing press worked. So have a great day.